Hey guys, now this movie reviewing, this is a movie that I really went into with fairly low expectations. I really did not know what I was going to get out of this movie, but I was quite interested because I heard of how great reviews this movie was getting, and I decided that I would see it in the theater, and that movie is none other than The Edge of 17. Like I said, this is a movie that I was not expecting much from, not because of the fact I thought it looked bad. I just thought that this looked like another really great, but very been there, done that, and very stereotypical high school comedy. That's what this looked like to me. It looked like a really fun high school comedy, and there's nothing wrong with it, because I really do get a kick out of them sometimes. I think there's been some really great ones along the way, and I think this one, looked like this one was going to be no different, that this was going to be just another really great high school comedy, and I went into it thinking that. But, like I said, I went into it fairly low expectations, and let me just say that I went into it that way. I went into it thinking it was going to be that. However, I came out of The Edge of 17 blown away. This movie, The Edge of 17, is one of the most emotionally effective, powerful, and overall best films I have seen of this year. This movie absolutely surprised me. I really had no idea what I was getting into, and in my opinion is a masterpiece. I really did love everything about The Edge of 17. But let me just get into the plot of The Edge of 17, because the plot on paper sounds very generic and sounds like something that we've heard before, but let me just tell you that this movie really is not that at all, and I'll talk about why, but let's get to the plot. The plot of this movie, we focus on this girl, Nadine, who she is very awkward, she's very eccentric, she just doesn't really fit in very well in school, and the only person she really does fit in with is her best friend, Krista. These two have been inseparable since, I believe, kindergarten, and ever since then, they've always kind of just gone about things by being with each other. However, one day after this wild night between Nadine and Krista where they get drunk, basically Krista ends up flirting with Nadine's older brother Darian, who Nadine is very jealous of, and one thing leads to another, and the next thing Nadine knows, Krista and Darian have slept together and now are becoming a couple, and Nadine starts to feel like she is starting to feel more and more alone, and basically it's her struggle to feel acceptance from society, but also everyone else wanting to accept her, and that basically is the plot of The Edge of 17 overall. I really did, I went into, like I said, the plot of this movie, that sounded very generic, but there's just so much more to it than that, and let's just get into this, because I have so much to say about this movie. So let's start off talking about the cast here, because damn do I have a lot to say about the cast in this movie. I went into this movie thinking the cast was going to be your stereotypical, cookie-cutter type of stereotypes in high school, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of movies that do that very well, but I was expecting that from this movie, and I gotta say, the characters in this movie are absolutely nothing like that. These are some of the most human, realistic, and just very well-realized characters I've seen all year. Every character in this movie is great. There's not a single character that I didn't love, but by far the star of this movie is Hailee Steinfeld as Nadine. I really have always loved Hailee Steinfeld. I think since True Grit, she's been picking some really good things. This is by far her best role since that movie. She completely shines as this character of Nadine, and yes, she's very funny. Yes, she's very eccentric. But at the same time, you totally feel for her. I mean, you totally understand what she's going through. This is someone who really hates herself. Like, constantly, she's beating herself up over this. And just, she really is not like who she's become. She thinks that she's ashamed of herself. I mean, this is just someone who is so self-deprecating and so desperate, really, to feel loved. And you definitely do see that throughout the movie. She wants someone to genuinely to talk to. But she's also going through a very personal tragedy because of her dad dying a couple years ago, which I thought that was very well executed. But everything with her, what I love about Nadine is, as funny as she was, and as entertaining as character she was, because she is by far one of the most entertaining performances I've seen of this year, she's also one of the most effective. There are some scenes here where I really did feel for her, and I'm not gonna lie, there's one scene towards the end of this movie where Nadine starts to cry, and I honestly almost cried with her. This is a very convincing performance. I honestly feel Hailee Steinfeld could get herself another Oscar. I don't know if she's going to, but this to me was an Oscar-worthy performance. She absolutely killed it in this movie. I love what she had to do here, and I really want to see her give more performances like this, because she really blew me away. I expected Nadine to be a very typical character, but she's really not that at all. I think she's one of the most well-realized I've seen. By far one of the best performances I've seen by an actress this year. I think either her or Amy Adams are like the two, but she was incredible. I loved everything about her, and I can't wait to see more of Hailee Steinfeld, because this is really the type of role she needs to be picking. Now, the rest of the cast in this movie, though, I have to say, really was just as great. I think everyone, not just Nadine, was so well developed in this movie. Let's talk about Woody Harrelson, because from the trailer, Woody Harrelson in this movie looks like he's going to be the funny guy, and yes, he has some hilarious one-liners as a character of Mr. Bruner, Nadine's high school teacher, but he's also very much a mentor towards Nadine. This is someone that, for whatever reason, even the fact that he doesn't really want Nadine in his life, she constantly confides in, and she constantly wants to, try to, get into his head and learn more about him. And there's this scene where these two completely roast each other, but it's very funny, but it's also very touching, and I think that is the perfect example of the way this movie is. I think these two, it's such a great relationship, it was very well realized, and getting into his character, we don't know a ton about his character, but we do find out stuff throughout the movie, and I think overall he did an incredible job. I really love what he did in this movie. He really was fantastic. But actually, who surprised me the most wasn't Woody Harrelson, but Kyra Sedgwick as Nadine's mother, Mona, is so good in this movie. I loved everything about her character. This is a grieving mother at its core, but she's also someone who's trying to still be that effective parental figure that Nadine doesn't really feel much from. This is someone who kind of favorites her brother. She constantly is calling in Nadine's brother for favors, and she's begging him for things, and she kind of is losing control of Nadine. You definitely do see that, and you really do feel for her character. And there's one scene with her in this movie towards the end that I'm not gonna lie, I thought was very effective. It was very funny, but it was at the same time very effective, and just little things like that she just did so well. She had a very nuanced performance. It could have been very over the top and very soap opera-ish, but I think in general she really made this character feel real, something authentic, just a very realistic portrayal of a mother who clearly is going through a ton of shit, someone who is really just as damaged as her daughter, and I think they did that very well. The relation between Nadine and Mona is not a very happy one, but every single scene I was so riveted. I loved everything they did with her, and I love the fact that she tried to be in Nadine's life despite the fact she really didn't want her to. I think their relationship in general is very compelling, as well as any relation with Nadine. She really had great chemistry with everyone. I definitely will say that. Something else I definitely will give Hailee Steinfeld, but Kyra Sedgwick in particular, I think was fantastic. I really love what she did here, and she was just as good as really everyone else. Now, Blake Jenner is someone that I also really want to talk about, because I know a lot of people say, oh, Blake Jenner plays the same exact role in every single thing he's in. He was Ryder in Glee, which I always thought he was really good in, but everybody wants him. He was the good guy. And if you didn't like his character and everybody wants him, because I can understand if you didn't, he was kind of like the goody-good that didn't really do a ton of wrong things. This is the character for you. This character of Darian I thought was so interesting, because he starts off as, the typical asshole brother who's kind of treating Nadine like shit, but then as the movie goes on, they really do dive deep into his character, why he is the way he is, why he really acts this way, and really how human of a character he really was, and the care that he really does have for Nadine, I thought was really well done. Blake Jenner was fantastic in this movie, and I really am happy to see that he's doing some really great sleeper hits. I think this is definitely going to be one of those, and I'm really loving what he's doing here. He really was great. And then Hailee Lou Richardson as Krista, Nadine's best friend, I thought also was really great in this movie. She does not have as much screen time as you think she does, but I thought overall she was definitely really well casted. I really love what she had to do here. You really did believe in their relationship, and it's the perfect example of a friendship gone wrong, but a friendship that, she's not bitchy, she hasn't changed, but she's just found something in Darian that she really liked, and she wants to be with him, and you really do believe throughout this movie why she wants to be with him. I really liked her character overall. She really was great, and the only other person to really talk about is Hayden Szeto as Erwin. I'm not going to really say much about this character because I don't really think they show him a ton in the trailer. Wow, did I like this character. I mean, in some scenes, he stealed a ton of the film. I mean, to me, he seemed like the person that was having the most fun out of everyone. I think everyone was having a lot of fun, but he seemed like the one that was having the most fun. I loved everything about his character. I'm not going to lie, there are so many scenes with Erwin that were so relatable. Like, the way that he is in this movie is the way I am. There was a phone conversation between Nadine and Erwin, two in particular, that is exactly how I am when I talk to on the phone. I mean, it's awkward as hell. It's very silent. It's just hilarious to watch. I really did love his character. He was a lot of fun, and I really like the relationship that him and Nadine had. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but I really love what he did here. This cast in general is one of the most well realized. It's one of the best, and it's one of the many reasons why this movie is as good as it is. So the directing here by Kelly Fremon Craig was something that I really didn't know what I was going to get into. This isn't a director that I really recognize that much. She's only done a couple things, and they're not really good movies. All the movies she's done have not really been that great, and that was one of the things I was worried about. But she did a fantastic job directing this movie. This is definitely the movie that shows what Kelly Fremon Craig is definitely capable of, and I really loved her directing to this film. At points, this movie is very funny, but at the same time, it's very, very insightful, and I think those two tones were so well realized in this movie. For everything that's funny, there's something that's dark. For everything there's dark, there's something that's funny, and she just did that perfectly. The tone works so well throughout this movie, and it was so well realized in the way they did that, and I really loved that about the directing. But the thing that impressed me the most, besides the cast, was the writing in this movie, because holy shit, I mean, this is one of the best screenplays I've heard of this year. It's by far the most fun I've had with any movie this year. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. It is the most fun I've had. Maybe Swiss Army Man is a rival to that, but this, to me, is the most fun I've had with any film this year. I really got into this entire film, and it's just so fun. It really is, and they do a really good job of when something sad happens to not make it all dreary and depressing, because that's not really how life is. And I was really surprised by how realistic this movie portrays high school, because the way that high school is portrayed in this movie is 100% accurate. I mean, the way that things are done, I felt like I was listening in to conversations I hear at my high school. I mean, these are exactly the way the characters talk about things, the way the characters speak, the nuances they have, you know, the certain lingos they use. That is all stuff that is relevant in my high school, and I think it is one of the most realistically, kind of shockingly realistic, and kind of scary realistic too, of how good Kelly Fremon Craig really did a great job in portraying high school, and I really did love that. But what I loved even more is what this movie really has to say about acceptance, because that's what this movie really is about. It's about all the characters, I think, really searching for acceptance, you know, wanting to be accepted by everyone, but also wanting to accept themselves. You know, Nadine is someone who constantly hates herself. She ridicules herself. She puts herself down. She does anything stupid. I mean, she completely just loses it, and you get it. You really do. I mean, there have been many times where I've done things like that, and I think overall it was just a very relatable thing to her character that worked very, very well, but also what she's going through. You know, you understand why she is the way she is, why she's grieving as much, and you get why she doesn't really want to, why even though she tries to turn things around, things really do backfire for her, and I really did like that with her in this movie, and it never got too heavy-handed. I expected them to go in certain directions, and this is one of those movies where you think you know where it's going in this cliched direction, but it never did that. I didn't find anything in this movie cliche. I'm going to say that right now. There is not a single cliche thing in this movie. Even when it's happening between her and her best friend, I found to be completely natural. It made perfect sense to me why we went in that direction. And they make anything that seems like it's going to be very one note, and they make it something so more human and so much more than what you think. And that's something I absolutely loved in this movie. And I'm not going to lie, there were some scenes that I genuinely wanted to cry, and I genuinely felt for these characters. But it's also one of the funniest films of the year. This movie is absolutely hilarious. I mean, there are so many hilarious scenes in this film, but for every funny scene, like I said, there is a dramatic scene. That's something that this movie just understood so, so well, is when to be funny and when to be dramatic. And there are many movies that try to be like a dramedy, but this is a straight-up dramedy. I mean, it's really hard to say if this is a comedy or drama, because it really is both, and I think they just did a really good job with that. The movie starts off as your typical high school film, I definitely will say that, but as the movie goes on, it gets more and more realistic, and really more and more dramatic, but also I think more and more, you know, relatable, and just interesting. And as the movie goes on, you start to love these characters more and more and more, and that's something I really did love with this movie. This is a movie that I wanted to continue to go on, because the more it went on, the more I really loved everything that was going on. I honestly could have watched 2 hours of this because I was so into this story, and it's a movie that I really didn't want to end, and that doesn't happen often with me, but this is a movie that I really did not want to end. I was loving everything about it. I thought the story was so interesting, and they did that so, so well with this movie. I love the way the writing was done, and the ending to this movie is just one of the most satisfying ends I've seen in any movie this year. I love the way it's done. It's both hilarious and very heartwarming. I love the way it was done here. There's some very subtle scenes as well that I just thought were really great closure to this film, just everything about the ending I really appreciate as well. It's one of the most satisfying, and especially because I was worried they were going to go in this direction, and they went completely in a different direction, and I absolutely love that. The cinematography, there's not much to say about, but I think it was very well filmed. Definitely, you felt like this is high school. You felt like this is very realistic, and that's something they did really well here. The score of this movie, I really did love. It's not used a ton, but when it's used, I thought it was used really, really well. Definitely very well utilized. And the editing this movie is perfect. This movie flew by for me. I couldn't believe when it was over. Honestly, I thought the editing this movie was perfect. It's some of the best of the year. It's a very tightly edited film. It's a movie that's very fast-paced, and it is very easy to understand, but again, it has those very deep nuances in there that I really did not expect from this movie. That's something that I really did appreciate. If you guys want me to get more into that, I'm not going to talk spoilers, obviously. This isn't really a movie that we talk spoilers about, but if you guys want to know more of how I felt about it and more what I felt about the nuances and things like that, just message me and I'll tell you really what I mean by the movie was so nuanced and restrained, because there really were certain directions this movie could have done and they didn't do that, and I'm very happy the way that things end up overall. I thought overall it just worked really, really well, and I really enjoyed that. Now, yes, I think many people will make the argument that there are a lot of things that in this film that feel very familiar, because, yeah, there are a lot of things I saw in here. There's definitely some Richard Linklater influences, and there's even a little bit of Awkward, you know, the MTV show. There's some of that in there because of the narration. There's stuff like Mean Girls and all that kind of stuff, but the movie finds a way to make it feel wholly original and make it feel like something completely different, and I wouldn't say it's unlike anything I've seen, but it truly is something that really stood out. I mean, definitely, especially when you have, you know, a high school film, you don't expect much from it, and especially if it's good, it's really great, but this one is amazing. It really was something incredible, and I think that's one of the reasons why this movie really was as good as it was, because of how great it made it feel really original. So overall, guys, The Edge of 17 is one of the most surprising films. It might be the most surprising film I have seen so far this year. I loved everything about this movie. It was heartwarming, it was touching, it was emotional, it was heartbreaking, it was heartwarming at the same time. Just everything about it was such an emotional roller coaster that I absolutely love. It's some of the most well-realized characters, and between one of the best screenplays of the year, between a very restrained editing and just a very well-constructed film. And by far, I am definitely giving The Edge of 17 a 5 out of 5 or an A+. I'm shocked that I'm giving a movie this rating. And you guys would be like, why are you giving a movie this rating? Guys, you need to see this movie. If you are at least a little bit interested, watch this movie. This is totally a film that I could see being a very small film that comes out in theaters, a coming-of-age film that not a lot of people see, but then becomes a cult classic. I could very well see that happening. Although, I don't know, there were a lot of people in my theater, so I'm going to tell you guys this. If you're at least a little bit interested, go see this movie. I guarantee you will not regret it. It is a film that I think everyone really needs to see about social acceptance, and it's one of the most realistic and probably best high school films I've seen so long. I loved everything about it. I can't wait to watch it again, and that is when you know how great a movie it is. Very rarely do I watch a movie and say, oh, I want to watch it again right now, but that is exactly how I felt about the end of Edge of 17. I want to watch it again right now. If I had the Blu-ray, I would watch it again right now. I think it is a very fun film. It's also a very heartwarming film. It's one of the best of the year, and will for sure be on my top 10 list without a doubt. Just whatever you do, see this movie. It's incredible, and one of the most realistic films I've seen all year by far. So over, guys, to The Edge of 17. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie overall if you have seen it. I know a lot of people haven't seen this movie, but please go see this movie if you're at least a little bit interested. Definitely, I think it's a great film, and that's it, my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for review tonight's episode of The Exorcist. Actually, I have 2 episodes to review The Exorcist, and I will see you guys. Actually, Girl Meets World Exorcist, one of those things. I don't really know, but I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.